Have you ever felt that spine-tingling chill when hearing a horror story that seemed too real to be made up? Well, that's exactly what happens when we talk about Valak, the demon that gained worldwide fame by appearing as a terrifying nun in horror movies. But here's a question you may never have asked yourself: does Valak really exist? Or is it just another creation of the human imagination, designed to feed our deepest fears? Imagine for a moment that everything you saw in The Nun and The Conjuring 2 wasn't just a movie script, but based on accounts that paranormal investigators consider real. And what if I told you there's an ancient book called The Lesser Key of Solomon, which mentions Valak as one of the 72 most powerful demonic spirits ever catalogued? Does that sound like pure fiction, or something that deserves a more serious investigation? When it comes to horror films, it's impossible not to recall that figure who sent shivers down audiences around the world, the nun. The secret to her impact lies in the contrast between the sacred and the profane. After all, what could be more disturbing than a nun possessed by an ancient demon? Scenes like Valak's first appearance in The Conjuring 2 became iconic, not just for the scare, but for how they tap into the collective unconscious. The creators of the film skillfully used elements present in popular culture, such as urban legends of ghostly nuns, to create something that feels disturbingly real. The image was so powerful that it transcended the screen. T-shirts, memes, costumes, and a growing interest in topics like occultism and demonology followed. Many people even started reading The Lesser Key of Solomon after watching the movies, in an attempt to learn more about the real Valak. But what about outside the movies? Are there real-life cases related to this entity? In recent years, a series of contemporary accounts of possessions attributed to Valak have surfaced online, in forums, blogs, and even documentaries. In many of these cases, victims claim to have felt dark presences, heard threatening voices, and seen figures resembling the nun. One of the most impressive accounts comes from Eastern Europe. A young woman found an old book in her attic, with symbols similar to those in the Lesser Key of Solomon. Afterward, she began exhibiting classic symptoms of possession. Exorcist priests claimed that the entity identified itself as Valak and demanded sacrifices. Scary, right? These accounts reignite the debate: are they collective hallucinations, cultural influences, or evidence of something truly supernatural? Many believe that the figure of Valak isn't new. It has simply found a new way to manifest through cinema. To better understand, we need to go back in time, long before the movies. Valak appears in The Lesser Key of Solomon, a 17th-century grimoire that describes rituals for demonic invocation. There, he is listed as one of the 72 demons of Goetia, described as a boy riding a winged dragon, capable of revealing hidden treasures and granting power to those who invoke him. Interestingly, this version is very different from the image of the nun seen in the movies. The visual change is a modern adaptation meant to have a greater impact on audiences, but it raises symbolic questions. Why replace a boy riding a dragon with a silent and terrifying nun? Perhaps the answer lies behind the symbolism of that decision. Director James Wan's choice to portray Valak as a nun was no accident. By doing so, he subverted a figure traditionally associated with faith and purity. The result? A deep discomfort that goes beyond the scare. It's the sacred being corrupted. This technique is common in horror films: take something safe and turn it into a threat. When we see a possessed nun, we don't just feel fear, we feel that something in the world has been broken. Faith, divine protection, everything seems shaken. Moreover, it's a clever way to connect terror to everyday life. Nuns are part of the collective religious imagination, and their malignant presence in the movies creates immediate tension. Could evil hide precisely where we least expect it? Another factor that strengthens the myth is its connection to real cases. The Conjuring franchise was inspired by investigations conducted by Ed and Lorraine Warren, two of the most famous demonologists of the 20th century. And guess what? It was during one of their investigations that Valak was first mentioned in the context of cinema. Cases like the Perron family haunting, depicted in the first Conjuring movie, mix paranormal phenomena with manifestations of dark entities. Although Valak didn't appear in that specific case, the Warrens investigated various phenomena involving invocations and possessions, many of them linked to demons described in ancient grimoires. The adaptation of these accounts into cinema popularized names that previously only circulated in esoteric circles. Valak, who once lived in the pages of a grimoire, now has a face, voice, and a visual story. Now that you've delved into this dark universe, from medieval grimoires to modern horror films, it's time to ask a question: what does all of this really mean? Are these stories just entertainment, or do they reveal something about our own fears and beliefs? Perhaps the figure of Valak, demonic, intelligent, and symbolic, is more than just an evil entity. Maybe it's a reflection of our own fears about the unknown. If this subject intrigues you, why not explore further? Read Malleus Maleficarum, investigate real cases like those of the Warrens, or dive into forgotten grimoires lost to time. Each new step can take you deeper into this abyss between the real and the imaginary. After all, who can say for sure where legend ends and reality begins? But here's a challenge: do you have the courage to face your own fears and question what seems impossible to explain? The true power of these stories lies in how they make us think about the invisible and the inexplicable. So, don't stop here. Keep seeking answers, because the occult always holds more secrets than we can imagine. And remember, if you want to keep learning about topics like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content. After all, who knows what mystery we'll uncover together next?